Welcome to Utah Coaster Enthusiasts. My name is Ian. I am the owner of the channel here. And for 2019, I would like to try something new. Up until now, my channel has been about no limits roller coaster designs that I've done. But I would like to try a podcast. And so I welcome you to Coasters Connected. All right, let's get this podcast going. So the topic for today is going to be on Lagoon's next large roller coaster that is currently under construction and is rumored to be opening in 2020. So, before I get into that though, let's go over a few housekeeping items for the podcast. So first thing, these podcasts are going to be monthly. There's a lot out there that are weekly, daily. Just with my schedule of family work and my book on Saltair, there's just no way to get anything else out faster than a month. So these will be once a month unless, I see something that needs to be addressed more quickly. But let's just go for a month for now. Also, what are these going to be about? Because there are tons of roller coaster themed podcasts out there. Well, these ones are going to be on just Utah amusement park happenings. So that's ride manufacturers that are based here. Obviously, Lagoon, it's the state's only amusement park. You've got places like Evermore. Anything happening within Utah boundaries. I might throw in there a little RMC from now and again because they do make track for SNS, and I'm also from Idaho and take great pride in that one of the world's top roller coaster designers and manufacturers is based in my home state. I think that covers all of the housekeeping items. I might come up with more later, but let's jump right into today's topic and talk about Primoridal. Alright, so in this next section of the podcast, what I want to do is I want to go over what we know about the ride and what we don't know or what is rumored about the attraction. So we know from a trademark application in 2017, Lagoon is looking to use the name Primoridal for their new attraction. And so that's been the name assumed with this project since. A couple of weeks ago, on the Lagoon is Fun forums, a user brought up that there are 6 logos he found that Lagoon is applying for trademark as well. And one of those 6 is probably one of the ones they're going to use, and I've got those up on the screen right now. So let's quickly go over them real quick. So the 3 on the left, I'm not a fan of any of them. The ones with the skulls, they're all right. The one with the sword is completely out. Primordial and swords it doesn't fit at all, I don't think. So the 3 on the right. The 3 on the right are probably the better of the 6. The one with the bird, it's okay. If it has a bird theme, it's going to be great. The one with the diamond is my personal favorite, and I will use that as a watermark for the rest of the video. And then the last one we have is down in the bottom right hand corner, and it has a primordial feel to me. It's got the vines and the letters and the sun symbol, and I could see them using that one. I'd be okay with that one as well. So the one with the diamond and the one with the sun are my 2 runners up, and the one of the 2 I would choose for the ride. So the location of the ride is the third thing that we know for pretty much certain about this ride coming to Lagoon. It's going to be on the north end of the park, the northeast side of the park. We got our first hints that it was coming to that area when they removed the hydroluge, which sat on the north boundary of the park. And shortly thereafter, there was a cinder block building constructed by the park outside the park boundary but north of hydroluge. Not much was thought of this until it was discovered that the park was running large amounts of electrical conduit to this building, which made this building much more important to the overall story of their new attraction. The pictures on the screen were taken by a user on lagoonisfun.com named Greg, and they are used with permission. So thank you, Greg, for letting us use your pictures. Not much after this happened until October of 2018 when the park started driving pilings into the ground to stiffen the ground up so that it could handle much more weight. This was done with Cannibal, and so this is definitely a sign that they're building a roller coaster. For those that don't know, Lagoon sits on some pretty soft soil thanks to Lake Bonneville, and So they have to put these pilings in the ground, which are steel pipe pounded into the ground and then filled with concrete. Helps the ground take much more weight to be built on top of it. So pilings started to be placed in the ground, and some of these you can see on the screen. They covered the ends with old garbage cans, which is kind of funny. Some of them you can see have 45 written on them, which from what I understand means that they are 45 feet into the ground to bedrock. So the next time I got up to Lagoon was December 15th, and work had accelerated. There was much more than just pilings driven now. There's been excavation and rebar and all kinds of work going on. And there's also this huge pit that is massive, but even though we're close on 200 West, we could not see down into the bottom of it. Fortunately, there is a YouTube channel out there called Crossfire Gaming who has a drone and has wanted to know what's going on with Lagoon's new project and has graciously allowed us to use his footage. Please go to his channel and subscribe and give him a like to follow any more of his future content, which, on a side note, I understand he is going to be working on some engine swap videos of a DeLorean he owns, and I'll definitely be checking those out because I love DeLorean cars. Alright, be sure to go out and like, subscribe, to thank Crossfire Gaming for allowing us to use his footage, and let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on. So as you can see on the screen, we can see his footage from December, a few days after I was there. The snow has been melted, but you can see that they've got forms down in the bottom for some massive footing that they're putting in. And then if we move on to his January 9th footage, just last week, we can see that the footing has been poured, it is now curing, and they are working on forms next to it. And then we've got pilings up to on the north end of the lot that have excavation around them and more of in a shape. We also see a pile of pilings over in the very far north part of the construction area, and so I don't think we're done seeing pilings driven, but only time will tell. So from this footage we can tell where the ride is, obviously, and that ends the three things that we know for certain that are going on with this ride. Alright, so now that we've gone over what we know about the ride, let's go over about what we don't know about the ride, or what's rumored about the ride. So that's two things, the ride's theme and the ride's experience. Both are pretty integral together. So let's go over the theme first. So the theme of this ride that I've heard most often as a rumor is that it's supposed to be inside of an artificial mountain, which sounds pretty cool and could go really well or it could go really poorly. You know, you've got Matterhorn bobsledd's at Disneyland that I think is a fantastic ride, and I love riding it every time I'm there. And then you have rides that, while I haven't been on it yet, Wonder Mountain's Guardian at Canada's Wonderland, that a lot of people say is really kind of so-so. On the subject of Wonder Mountain's Guardian, that gets us good into the ride experience. So this ride is supposed to be a lot like that, where it's a roller coaster / dark ride. And from what I've seen of videos on Wonder Mountain's Guardian, it doesn't look too exciting ride-wise, with the drop track at the end being the most exciting. So hopefully this is an improved version of that, if that's what this turns out to be. I've also been told that this is supposed to be an amped up version of Bombora, which I'd be okay with that too, because Bombora is actually a fantastic little ride. I didn't think so when they were building it, but it's one of my favorite rides to ride at the park now, and my kids absolutely love it. Alright, so that's what we know about Primoridal at Lagoon. Check in next month with Coasters Connected here on Utah Coaster Enthusiasts to get more information on what's going on and to hear about other Utah amusement park industry news. So, before I sign off though, I would like to give a quick update on my Saltair project. For those that don't know, I am writing a book on the Saltair Beach Resort that operated from 1893 to 1958 on the shores of the Great Salt Lake. Alright, so the book is coming along great. I've been working on it for about 2 years now, but as the writer, editor, head researcher, you know, everything in this project, it takes me time to get things done. and it's going to be fantastic when it's finished. I have a section on the roller coasters that encompasses about 50 pages of text and pictures about the 4 roller coasters of Saltair, and it will definitely be a highlight of the book. I have the introduction to Saltair and a brief history of the Great Salt Lake sections done, and then I am working on the section right now about the resorts that came before Saltair, about the 8 bathing resorts that came before Saltair, and I feel that it's an integral part to include in the book, as it will help people understand why Saltair was the way it was. And so definitely this will be a not to miss book when it is released. So I'm still working hard on it every day. I'm hoping to get it out this year, but as I said before, I wear every hat in this project, so I am working diligently on it and would like to get it out as fast as possible, but I want it to be as correct as possible as well. So that's all I have for Coasters Connected this month. Be sure to check in next month to get more information, and as Bill and Ted always said, let's be excellent to each other and party on.